Hey there, hi there, and a ho there. It's me, GameZar. Welcome to Stoned History, the show where we get intoxicated and talk about history. Today, we are going to talk about the ancient astronaut theory, or the ancient aliens, as it's also known. But first, before we get into that, as always, thank you for watching, first of all, and let's start smoking. We're going to be smoking some THCA. It's called Iced Sangrita, and you can smoke along if you would like to. You don't have to. We don't condone or endorse any illegal activities. Everything we are doing is 100% legal, so with that being said, let's get into it. I'm really hoping there's no cough today. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of haven't been feeling well, and I don't really want to cough a whole awful lot. Let's go. 3 3 3 3 2 2 2 2 1 1 1 1 1. Got her blast. Today we'll be talking about the ancient astronaut theory, some of the claims it makes, some of the big figures, and of course, the show Ancient Aliens. We'll of course be using Wikipedia, as always. But as always, let's get into it. The ancient astronaut theory refers to a set of pseudoscientific beliefs, also called paleocontact, that holds intelligent extraterrestrial beings visited Earth and made contact with humans in antiquity and prehistoric times. Proponents of the theory suggest that this contact influenced the development of modern cultures, techniques, religions, and human biology. A common position is that deities from most, if not all, religions are extraterrestrial in origin, and that advanced technologies brought to Earth by ancient astronauts were interpreted as evidence of divine status by early humans. The idea that ancient astronauts existed and visited Earth is not taken seriously by academics and archaeologists, who identify such claims as pseudo-archaeological and unscientific. It has received no credible attention in peer-reviewed studies, but in popular culture is very popular. When proponents of the idea present evidence in favor of their beliefs, it is often distorted or fabricated. Some authors or scholars often also argue that the ancient astronaut theories have racist undertones or implications, diminishing the accomplishments and capabilities of indigenous cultures. We'll get into that. Well-known proponents of these beliefs in the latter half of the 20th century include Robert Charroux, Jacques Bergeret, Jaron Shendy, Eric von Daniken, we'll get into him, Giorgio Tsoukalos, we'll get into him, he's a big guy too, and a few others. Let's talk about the overview. Various terms are used to reference claims about ancient astronauts, such as ancient aliens, ancient UFOnauts, ancient space pilots, paleocontact, astronaut or alien gods. Believers in such ancient astronaut stories also maintain that all or some humans are either descendants or creations of extraterrestrial intelligence who landed on Earth at some point in the ancient past. An associated idea is that human knowledge, religion, and culture came from extraterrestrial visions in ancient times. I got good news for you guys. Scientology, it's correct. It's the real religion. Basically, these guys believe in Scientology. They believe that, like, the Egyptians and the Maui Stoneheads are structures acted out of a mother culture. They believe these are sometimes referred to as out-of-place artifacts. As a pseudo-archaeology, the idea receives notice in fringe pulp media, such as the History Channel series Ancient Aliens, which we'll talk about. That is a big part of this video. We have a whole tab dedicated to Ancient Aliens. A lot of these guys are on Ancient Aliens. As a pseudo-archaeology... Okay, we already went over that. Like archaeological endeavors of the criticized past, these proponents focus primarily on monumental archaeological structures, claiming they could have only been constructed by extraterrestrial intervention, despite other claims and proof and evidence that suggest otherwise. The implication is that the non-white indigenous people in the regions in which these monuments appear could not have built them on their own. Straight up. If they weren't white, it had to be aliens. That's what these guys believe. That's what these guys believe. If not white, then aliens. That's what these guys believe. It's fucking insane. You never hear them talk about, like, Norway. But in Ancient Aliens, they kind of break that because, you know, the show is 20 seasons long. They have to kind of talk about white people eventually. So they get to white people. But they consider white people to be like a special Aryan breed of alien. The Greys. They're different. A common feature in the stories portrays the aliens as light-skinned or Aryan in complexion. As prominent alien astronaut proponent Eric von Daniken claims in his foundational work Chariot of the Gods. These claims are so outlandish that up until recently, mainstream archaeologists essentially ignored them as absurdities. For example, Carl Sagan wrote, what did he write? What did he write? Sorry, I'm trying to find it. In the long litany of ancient astronaut pop archaeology, the cases of apparent interest have perfectly reasonable alternative explanations or have been misreported, or are simple prevarications, hoaxes, and distortions. Which is true! Everything these guys talk about can be explained if you really, really want to get down to the nitty-gritty. But these guys don't want to get down to the nitty-gritty. That's the thing. They go beyond the gray. And I kind of respect it. It's so schizophrenic that I kind of respect it. As a schizophrenic, I kind of respect it. It is so fucking out there. Sorry, just a tangent, you know? Just a Stoned history tangent. The Wikipedia article goes on to talk about Eric von Daniken. Eric von Daniken was a leading proponent of this hypothesis in the late 60s and 70s, gaining a large audience in the book Chariot of the Gods. This is the big. So we're going to get off this and move on to Chariot of the Gods, which is the foundational text of the ancient astronaut theory. It might as well be the ancient alien Bible. Chariot of the Gods, Unsolved Mysteries of the Past. It involves the hypothesis that technologies and religions of many ancient civilizations were given to them by ancient astronauts who were welcomed as gods. The first draft of this publication had been rejected by a variety of publishers. The book was extensively rewritten by his editor. Summary. The main thesis of Chariot of the Gods is that extraterrestrial beings influenced ancient technology. Von Däniken suggests that some ancient structures and artifacts appear to reflect more sophisticated technological knowledge that is known to or presumed to have existed at the times they were manufactured. Von Däniken maintains that these artifacts were produced either by extraterrestrial visitors or by humans who learned the necessary knowledge from extraterrestrials. Some artifacts include the Egyptian pyramids, Stonehenge. Like I said, Eric Von Däniken, to an extent, they address the whites, but they view them differently. It's racist. And of course the Maui Egyptian pyramids, Maui, Stonehenge, the Nazca lines. If you watch the show Ancient Aliens, you know what we're talking about. Yada yada yada. He talks about Ezekiel, visions of angels, the Ark of the Covenant, the destruction of Sodom as a nuclear explosion. Let's see how it was received. Carl Sagan criticized it as sloppy thinking. It is academically frowned upon, but people loved it. And its popular response is its bestseller. It was on the New York Times bestseller list and helped launch Eric Von Däniken as a public speaker. Its legacy, it spawned multiple sequels, and it was used as a plot element in shows and movies. The concept of ancient extraterrestrials has been used in basically all science fiction ever since. Eric Von Däniken basically plopped the mother load on us, and people just ate it up as fact. So let's talk about some of the other guys. We talked about Eric Von Däniken. Let's talk about Georgios Tsoukalos, because we're getting the ancient aliens. We're getting to there. Georgios Tsoukalos is an American writer, television presenter, and producer. He is a ufologist and promoter of the ancient astronaut hypothesis. He's a host and producer of Ancient Aliens. His career. He's Greek. He's Greek, if you care about that. I don't. But I'm just throwing that out there. If you couldn't tell by the name fucking Tsoukalos, he's Greek. My man is a good Greek. His appearance in Ancient Aliens inspired a meme. You know, we've all seen it. But that's all you need to know about Georgios Tsoukalos. He's the host of Ancient Aliens. So let's get to the show Ancient Aliens. Ancient Aliens is an American television series produced by Prometheus Entertainment that explores the ancient astronaut theory in a non-critical documentary formats. Episodes explored related pseudoscientific and prehistorical topics such as Atlantis, the lost ancient civilizations, the Anunnaki, which, oh my god, I have to talk about the Anunnaki sometime. That is a rabbit hole to go down. Jesus Christ. Stoned History Anunnaki episode. What is this series becoming? The series, which has aired on History since 2010, has been a large target of the criticism of the History Channel's drift, as well as criticized for promoting a conspiracy theory. According to the Smithsonian, episodes of the series overwhelm the viewer with fictions and distortions by using gish gallops. Originally broadcast as 2-hour documentary, Ancient Alien the series aired for 3 seasons, then aired for 20 seasons. 20 seasons! The show is still running up until it just got renewed in 2024. And it has a spin-off series, Ancient Aliens Origins. Its presentation style presents all claims made by guests in an uncritical, fast-paced format. The narration frequently frames claims made by guests of their responses of rhetorical questions which are answered with ancient alien theorists say yes, or a variation thereof. I can't play any of these clips. My video will get taken down immediately, but oh my god, you've seen it before. I know you have, the listener. I know you have. This show is very popular. I love this show, by the way. I'm not shitting on Ancient Aliens as a bad thing. I like it, but these guys are crazy. You know that, right? We can all acknowledge that these guys are fucking crazy. It's the most schizophrenic show out there. We have to acknowledge that, right? Everything is aliens for these guys. Frequent guests. Jonathan Young and David Childress. I could go on forever about David Childress. He's on every episode, and he is the craziest guy. They talk about the elongated skull. They talk about panspermia. They talk about the Anunnaki. I have to talk about the Anunnaki sometime. There have been 21 seasons so far. And that is where we have run out of tabs, so to speak. So this is the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I really don't have much more to say. I guess my closing thoughts are... we can presume that there probably is extraterrestrial life. I'm not going to deny the possibility. Neither did Carl Sagan. But these guys are going about it in the wrong way. And with that being said, I'm Gamezar. Peace.